gave up a comfortable life in Singapore to serve the poorest of the poor in the Philippines. 9 years on, 52-year-old Mauree has touched and improved countless lives through her efforts. In 2008, she founded Oikos Helping Hand, a foundation dedicated to improving the living conditions of those in New Smoky Mountain, a notorious dump site in Manila. From providing basic necessities like food and shelter to setting up educational centers for children, the former businesswoman now devotes her life to the impoverished. Maureen hopes that through her story, more people will be inspired to help those in need.
Role model for her daughter Claire. Well, we have another nominee in the Singapore Woman Award 2009, and she is based in the Philippines.
Well, her volunteer work with residents in the poorest part of Manila had captured the judges' vote.
And Singaporean Mauree spent the last 8 years helping the slum dwellers with free food and medicine through the support and help of a non-profit organization called Oikos Helping Hand.
Well, she's taken some time off from her busy morning routine to speak with us on the phone from Manila. Good morning there, Maureen.
Good morning, Dominic.
Hi, congratulations once again for being nominated. It was about 8 years ago that you and your hubby and 12-year-old son left Singapore to go to Manila and devote your lives to working with the very poor in the slum areas. What triggered your decision to go there?
My family has been so blessed by God, and we want to return to society, and we find it's very unfair that our son can eat in a fast food restaurant without a second thought when these slum dwellers can't even afford 3 basic meals a day. It is also very unfair that my family can fly to Singapore once or twice a year when these children can't even afford to take a jeepney or a bus that costs only 30 Singapore cents to go to school. So basically, I'm happy when I see this less fortunate happy.
Right, and you've made a great difference. I know that you helped more than 600 families in this slum area called New Smoky Mountain. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Give us an idea what this area is like. What kind of living conditions do they stay in, and basic necessities. What are the things they need to cope with?
Okay, their homes are made of anything they can pick up, like GI sheets, plywood, scraps, even the spring beds. The cotton part has been worn off. They just take the springs as their wall. So when it rains, oh boy, they have to run around, just to find a little space in their home where the roofs have no leaks. So it's nighttime, they have to get up and stand at a corner. And I always ask myself, why am I so fortunate to have a decent cement roof over my head when these people don't even have a proper roof? So with much pain in my heart, I shared this with one of my friends who emailed and raised funds for the canvassers, and we thank God that we managed to get about 285 homes covered. So these people are actually very hardworking people. It is not by choice, but out of necessity, because even though they may work 12 hours a day, they could not put 3 meals on the table.
Maureen,
yep.
I'm sure you've heard people tell you, don't give them fish, but actually teach them how to fish, and they can fend for themselves after that.
Right.
Is it possible to teach the residents in the slum area that you work in to help these people so that they can fend for themselves and help them get out of the poverty trap?
Yeah, I also agree that we need to give them a fish. We also conduct livelihood programs. We have sewing classes for them. Some Singaporeans went over to teach them how to sew some cottage industries. They also donated machines to us. We also teach them some business acumen to set up a mama shop, a sari shop we call it, where they sell small sachets of cooking oil or soap powder, things like that. We also have soap detergent where they can go door to door to make some money. So yes, we do teach them how to fish. But even in spite of all this, we still somehow have to give them fish because it is insufficient.
Mauree, we're running out of time, but very quickly, I mean, what's the toughest part of your job and the happiest part? And, how does your, then 12-year-old son reacting to, the situation there, and how has that changed his perspective?
Okay, the toughest part is when I see children picking up rotting food, those with maggots, and they wash it and then they refry it, and that's their food. If not, then they go hungry. So that is my saddest part. And my happiest part is when we have like-minded people, mostly Singaporeans, who came together to start this Oikos Helping Hand, which is mainly to help the poorest of the poor in Manila. Right, my son is 12 years old. To take him out of school and friends, it was tough for the first 6 months. Then after that, when he came to do the work together with us, and when he see the children, the youth, so happy when they have some food in their stomachs, he also felt compassion for them, and he also enjoyed himself. Now he doesn't want to go back to Singapore, only once a year. That's good enough for him.
That is a great education trip as well for him. Thank you so much, Mauree, and once again, congratulations for being nominated as a finalist in this year's Singapore Women Award.
And we've been on the phone with Mauree Teo, a volunteer with Oikos Helping Hand in Manila who works with the slum dwellers in the poorest part of the city.
You can find out more about her non-profit organization at this website, www.oikoshelpinghand.org.
All right, looks like we're heading for a quick break, but we'll be right back with more.
Actually, just before we go for a break, we want to tell you about other nominees that we've actually interviewed in the past week, last week as well. Ordinary women who are doing extraordinary things and who inspired many along the way. Let's take another look at the 5 finalists in the Singapore Women Award 2009.
Deng Lim, the sprightly 75-year-old volunteer who has great passion in helping others. She set up 2 support groups, the Colon Cancer Support Group and Woman-to-Woman Menopause Support Group, to help patients and their families better cope with their medical conditions.
And Iris Vega's confidant to Singapore's AIDS patients is a role that she has taken on for the past 24 years with much passion and compassion. And she's always been there for her patients and the families to help them come to terms with the deadly disease.
Esther Ng, an extraordinary woman with a vision and passion for the life of children and youths in Singapore. Her work with the non-profit organization Coalition Against Bullying for Children and Youth in Singapore highlights a worrying social problem among children today.
And Tan Gok Moy, devoted mother, dedicated wife and hard-working entrepreneur whose never say die attitude has helped turn the fortunes of the family business around after 2 bankruptcies. Her selflessness is a virtue her daughter Claire hopes to emulate.
And Mauree Teo, a Singaporean volunteer based in the Philippines who spent the last 8 years of her life helping the poorest of the poor in Manila's slum areas. Her enthusiasm has brought like-minded people together to offer microfinance interest-free loans and business skills to uplift the lot of the impoverished there.
Well, we have heard all the stories about these 5 women with extraordinary lives. Only one will walk away with the Singapore Women Award 2009 given out by Channel News Asia.
And the winner will be announced tomorrow at a luncheon at St. Regis Hotel.
The Singapore Women Award is brought to you by main sponsor Robinsons, co-sponsor Jean Yip, and supported by True Heritage Brews Singapore Sling.